You never know who is paying attention to all of the wonderful things that you are doing. You don't know who is paying attention to your podcast. You don't know who is browsing your website. You do not know who is looking at your Instagram. You have no idea. And I think that if you could see the impact of your work and the ears and the eyes and the hearts that are paying attention to everything that you are doing, you would probably move maybe a little bit faster. You would be a bit more confident and you would show up more because you would truly see the impact of the work and everything that it is that you are doing. Now, over the last 2 days, I have had 2 people come forward to me saying that they listened to my podcast. One of them was this incredible business that had registered to come to my recent event. And I was a bit like starstruck with this because I remember seeing this particular brand advertised on television, and I purchased the products being I was in my late teens, and to see this brand come to my event. And then I reached out to the founder. We were talking on email and she said that she listened to this podcast. She listens to the Business Funnel. And I was like, what? Are you joking? And when she said who she works with, I was like, I love that you are working with someone that is at the peak of their industry, of what they're doing, but you are also paying attention to me. That for me, I was like in awe. And then I just went out to breakfast with my mom, and my beautiful barista, he was like, I listened to your podcast. I was listening to music the other day and I'm like, I'm going to tune into the Business Funnel. And he said that he listened. And I loved this, but I think between those 2 encounters, it really got me thinking that we never really know the impact of what we are doing, because so much of how we base our success in business is based on the end result. And the end result is cash in the bank and sales. And we can feel like that if that isn't happening, that nothing in our business is happening. And what these moments reminded me of, it's that you never really know who is listening, who is watching, who is paying attention to all of the wonderful things that you are doing. We quite often focus on the end result being our measurement of success. So we focus on what we are aiming for sales to be the measurement if our business is successful. And this can be something if you are yet to start, if you are scaling and you're like, we're trying to get to 50K or 100K months and we're still not there. You still don't know who is paying attention. You have right now, yes, all of these incredible business owners and customers that are watching and consuming your work, even if they're not commenting, even if they're not liking, even if they're not saying, hey, that was a banging podcast episode. These people are out there and they are currently in the room with you, even if you cannot see them yet. So when I had heard that these 2 people had listened to my podcast, it got me thinking, who else is listening to my podcast? How do we know that Anthony Robbins doesn't tune into the Business Funnel every Monday because he is Monday mindset is my fix? We don't know if Marie Forleo is passing around that episode being this woman is a golden goddess. We need to get her involved somehow. I don't know any of this. And the thing is, if I don't know any of this, then you don't know any of this for you and your business as well. And I want just think about that for a second. I want you to think about all of the people that are paying attention, who are listening, who are consuming. It's we have access to metrics and data. You can go and look on Instagram and look at, the reach of your posts. You never know who is sitting within that reach. You never know the eyeballs that your stuff has caught. And again, it's because we are so focused on conversions. And the problem that we have is a lot of us are expecting big business and long game results right now, where sometimes it is going to take a little bit of time. I'm sorry, it's going to take a little bit of time. So, I say this because a lot of us feel that we will put our foot on the gas and we will go hard for a week or a month or a quarter. And then we're looking at the results from that, and the results don't match up with where we thought that we should be and the amount of work that we have done. But the problem is with that, we never know the results that were in motion. We don't really know what's happening behind the scenes. We don't know the moves that people are making. Maybe they are working with another consultant and they need to get out of that contract. Maybe they are like, I am, my budget has been allocated for this next quarter and I need to wait until next quarter. And, maybe they're like, I don't want to tell you, because maybe they've had experiences with people who are like, yeah, they say, I'm going to work with you next quarter, and they never fucking do. It's like the people that are all talk with no action. So they're like, I don't want to be that. I don't want them to think that of me. So I'm not going to say anything until I'm ready to buy. And then I'm going to be like, hey, bitch, I want to work with you. So you never know what is happening behind the scenes. The only thing that you know are the results. And then what you're actually adding is you are adding a story and you are adding meaning to things. So when things are quiet, people will tell themselves that nothing is working and that sales aren't happening and that no one is buying. I see this a lot. I saw someone the other day say that no one is buying courses. Courses are dead. And the problem is with this absolute thinking is it's like that is not true for everyone. And the minute that you make blanket statements, that is really, I would be really conscious of that. And I think sometimes we need to take responsibility and also look for evidence that things are working. Because the problem is, as soon as we just label things aren't working, we don't actually look for possibilities that they are. So it's not like we're going to be like, courses are working because I have evidence that so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so are thriving in that. So currently, it's just not me. I am not getting the results that I want. But still, you have no idea who's actually paying attention. And the problem is that when we change our minds so much trying to figure out what works, what nails our niche, because some fucking person hopped on Instagram and was like, when you nail your niche, everyone is going to buy. Almost like all these sales will fall from the sky. Sure, for some people, but what we want to remember is what actually gets people to buy is trust, it's reputation, and it is them making a decision that we are the person that is going to facilitate the transformation. They can see that we understand the vision, or we have given them something where they are able to see this within themselves, okay? And the problem is sometimes when we are whiplashing all over the place trying to figure things out because we don't really know like what's happening, the problem is with that disrupts trust within the buyer. So let's pretend for a minute that, I've spoken about having this 3 months where I had no clients, okay? You can look back at what I was doing. Nothing changed. I was still talking about the same thing. Could you imagine if I threw business bang in the bin? Could you imagine if I was like, I'm not going to do consulting? Could you imagine if I niched down? All of the people that were paying attention and were getting ready to become a customer maybe would have been like, I don't know if this is me now. I'm a bit disorientated. She seems to be changing her mind a bit. Like, why? What is with this constant evolution? It kind of feels a bit messy. And then what ended up happening after this period of like the void or the dip was I had the best sales month in this business, 65 grand worth of sales. And that only happened because I knew even if sales were not happening, people were still paying attention and people were still interested. And that was a story that I told myself. So a lot of the time with this, what dictates the results in our business are we are given data and then we add meaning to that data. So this is so much of like Brooke Castillo's model where, you have your thought, you have your circumstance, your thought, your feeling, your action, and then your result. And a lot of us look at our thoughts thinking that they are a circumstance, but that is just our thought about what is actually happening. So you think about it, you could have no sales and someone could say to that, no one wants to work with me. Someone else could say to that, everyone is moving mountains so they can work with me. Both can be true about that same thing. I want you all to think right now about the people that you want to work with. Think about your dream customer. Think about the person that like when you see that sale pop through or when you see that application or like whatever it is, when you see that and how good that feels. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I get to say that they're my customer or they're my client. I want you to think about all of your competitors, the people that you look up to, okay? Now put them in your client base. Pull them down off the pedestal, put them in your client base. You are that fucking good that can happen. And I want you to think about the fact that they are all paying attention to you right now. They are looking at everything that you are doing, and they have written your name on their board of who they're going to work with or what they're going to buy in the next 3 months. And I want you to ask yourself, with how I'm showing up at the moment and the action and the content and the visibility within my business, do I think that they're going to rub my name off that board? Or do I think that they are going to lean in harder to work with me? Because if you are relying on sales to keep you going and for that constant dopamine hit of a sale to come through and comparing yourself to people online, you can fuck a really good business because you are chasing a very fleeting, something so fleeting as money. Because money will come in and money will come out. But what will stay forever is brand. It is a legacy. It is what you are building. And if you are chasing really quick cash, and if that is being your metric of success, you risk creating something that is going to fall over and that it is not sustainable. And I feel like I am a perfect example of that. I am someone that has had a variety of different businesses. I've had a Pilates studio. I've had my DVD. I was a writer for health magazines, and I was a sex and dating writer. Then I was in a network marketing scheme selling essential oils. Like, I have done a lot of things. And guess what has happened that whole time? I have kept my customers. I still have people that went to my Pilates studio that are on my mailing list that still read all of my business emails. And the reason that this happens is because I have built this brand. And I am so anchored into the fact that even if we have a quiet week, even if we have a quiet month, even if nothing is happening, that stuff is still happening. I just can't see it. It has not yet alchemized in my reality, but it has already happened within someone else's reality. And this is something that you are going to have to battle if you are yet to make $1, if you are doing 10K a month, 50K a month, 100K a month, $1 million a month. Because every time we level up in business and we command growth, we are going to be pushing outside of this comfort zone where we are going to have to deal with this. And again, you don't know who is paying attention. I want you to think about all of the dream clients and contacts and amazing sales. Think this year about everyone that has worked with you or given you money and people who you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you got them as a customer. There was a period when you felt like that nothing was happening and nothing was moving, where they were paying attention to what you were doing. And I want you to look back at periods where you put the brakes on, or how you show up was dictated by, people's praise, their likes, their comments, their sales. And I want you to ask yourself if you are slamming the brakes on because you weren't getting enough of that. What I'm going to challenge you to do this week, I want you to move through this week like every single person that is in your vision board is watching what you're doing. And they are paying attention to what you're doing. I want you to think about that. I want you to think about all of the people that you look up to are in your orbit. They are paying attention to you, because you think about it, every time we show up with content, every time we put something out on Instagram, we have a chance of that going viral. We have a chance of that getting seen by not only our dream customer, but the people that we look up to in business. Every time we do that, we have a chance of that happening. And guess what is so cool to think about? That has already happened. And guess what is so cool to think about? The more that happens, the more that your brand and your reputation is being built up in their eyes. And then one day what's going to happen? A sale is going to pop through and it's going to be them. An application is going to come through. It's going to be them. You're going to have some product orders. It's going to be them. But it only happens if you keep showing up. We can think now about what giving up is actually costing us. Because you think about it, it's like we are never going to get to the goal we want if we keep quitting and we keep stopping and we keep pausing. And we can tell ourselves that it's the moon or we need to get an alignment. You can come up with whatever bullshit reasons you want. But the only person that you're saying that to is yourself. You can lie to me. I don't care. It's not my business. It's your business. You have to, at the end of the day, go to sleep and wake up and go back to your business. So you can tell yourself whatever excuses you want. You are the person that is going to have to live with that. You can make this happen. You can make this work. And you get to show yourself how fucking proud of yourself you can be. But you never get to that point if you're like, no one's buying. You talk to any big fucking entrepreneur, you talk to any business that you want, any huge entrepreneur and business owner has gone through this. The thing is, the reason they are successful is because they keep moving through this. And the reason that we have, such high failure rates for business and people that don't ever get above the 50K a year mark or the 200K a year mark, remember, that is half of Australian small business never makes more than 200 grand a year, is because, sure, it could be their business model, but they probably don't have enough visibility because they keep stopping because they're like, well, no one is buying. Okay. Do not let that be your fucking story. Do not let that be your story. You are too good for that. We both know that. So this week you have a challenge, and the challenge is to show up. The challenge is to be visible. The challenge is to email. I do not care. Fuck off the click rate. Fuck off everything else. Fuck off sales. What would it look like for you to send 3 to 5 emails this week? If you are a personal brand, if you are a service-based business, what would it look like for you to send these emails? What would it look like to be controversial? What would it look like for you to speak your mind? What would it look like for you to do that without the expectation of getting a sale? What would it look like for you to show up on Instagram and just create? What would it look like for you to talk about all of the things that are hot on your heart that you want to talk about and just remove the sales? Just imagine that you're already getting paid. Imagine that you got $1 million check on the way. Imagine that is happening. And then guess what's going to happen? You may not get a sale from this, but you will have someone that references the work that you do when you feel like it is so quiet, where they will say, I still think about that post. I still think about that email. I still think about this concept. Exceptional businesses that want excellence and are fucking allergic to mediocre will do this. But what will the mediocre ones do? They will pause and they will stop every time it's silent. That is not you. You are excellent. You are exceptional. So fucking go do excellent and exceptional things. Show up like you are the exceptional entrepreneur with an exceptional business. Hot stuff. I love this. I love you. Let's go fucking get it. It is another Sunday at work. We're on the podcast. I've had a gorgeous breakfast out with my mom. We've had a beautiful little rainstorm come through. The city looked all gloomy, and now the sun is coming back out, and I think it's going to be hopefully a nice little afternoon. So I love this. I love you. I love you more than the fact that, oh my gosh, I've lost more weight. I've lost, I think, another 0.5 kilo. So far since when is that? July. It's taken me a little bit longer than I would like. Because, I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of trying, but I'm not really trying. I've lost 5.5 kilos, which I'm so happy with. I've got my goal for the end of the year, so I love you more than that. I love you more than my leopard print, my animal, is it leopard? Yeah, I love you more than my leopard print trench. I get so many compliments on this. I remember Mum and I went shopping and we were in, was it Maya? Was it David Jones? I think it was Maya. And I remember walking in, and it was almost like it was illuminated. It was like I could see it, and it was like that this coat had an aura around it. And I picked it up and I was like, oh my God, I love that. But I just don't know if it's a bit trashy because it's like this, it kind of has this coating on it. And I remember putting it on and I was like, fuck, I don't care if it's trashy. This is so it just reminds me of Dolce & Gabbana. And I bought it and I get so many compliments on it. It was on sale. I am a queen of buying things on sale. I can always spot a deal and spot a bargain. So I love you more than that. I love you more than the feeling that I have for the future. I feel like we say this on a couple of podcast episodes, but I just feel really good. I feel like everything is coming together. Everything is just looking so good. My clients are doing so well, but I love all of the things that they are doing in their business. It just is continual proud parent moments. It feels really, really good. So I love you more than that. I actually love you more than I had someone this week and she had said, I think, our business needs to buy Give Good Email. I just need to get this approved. So again, like back to the theme of this podcast episode, you never know who's paying attention. I didn't even realize that she was on my email list. And the fact that she's considering this and she has made their mind up that this is what the business needs. So, there's some more evidence for you that sometimes it is just like you can present the best product, but sometimes it is not the right time for the business. And the only thing that I can do is just keep showing up, keep following up, know that I have like a hot lead, and even potentially like this is where I also get to be like, okay, cool. How can I make this really clear that it doesn't matter if you have 30 minutes a week, you can thrive and give good email? And that is what I'm going to do as we go into the new year. I'm going to change up how I've spoken about a couple of things to make people be like, oh yeah, this is something that I can easily do. So I love you more than that. I love you more than they have these like little, I think they're Italian, these like little Italian biscuits. They're called like a tortina, and it's like wafer, and it's got this like, I think it's like a praline in the middle, like a praline cream, and they're coated in chocolate, and they're pretty big and they're so delicious. And I remember I was young, I loved the idea of entertaining and just having things like having like a kitchen where people could just pop in, and I would just pull out like this beautiful tray with these biscuits on it. Like I just loved the idea of doing that. And I think because I loved watching like the cooking shows like Ina Garten and like Barefoot Contessa and Nigella. And I just loved this. And I know you may be like, this feels very strange because you don't like to cook. Okay, fun fact. I actually used to have a cooking blog. I used to love to cook. Why don't I like to cook now? No, I think I go through stages, but I much prefer like dining out. Yeah, I love to kind of just be looked after. Like, I think that's my love language. It's like, look after me, feed me, do things for me. Like, I'm total acts of service girl. My favorite thing now to make for dinner is reservations, definitely. But I still definitely enjoy just having like a fully equipped kitchen and pantry where people can come over. And I think these biscuits look really nice. I also like the idea of having mini magnums as well, where if someone's like, oh, I just want a sweet treat, I'm like, do you want a magnum? Are you feeling almond magnum? Or like Loco Loves. I don't know if I could keep them in the house though, because I would just demolish all of them. Anyway, hot stuff, I'll leave it there. I love this. I love you. Have the sexiest week. Have the week that you deserve. Mwah.